And
Oh.
nobody has done it since. Not Kobe, not LeBron, not KD. The
Mm.
number has been sitting there untouched for nearly 4 decades.
Damn.
But Jordan did all of that and became the first player ever to record 200 steals and 100 blocks in the same season. He was scoring on one end, then taking the ball from you or swatting your shot on the other end. This man was on a different level.
Yeah.
This is no nostalgia piece. This is a breakdown of a season so dominant it almost doesn't make sense. Most Jordan content focuses on the championship years, but the argument here is that 1987 Jordan, with no Pippen, no Phil Jackson, no triangle offense, might have been the most talented version of Michael Jordan we ever saw.
Okay.
Raw, unfiltered, one-man army Jordan.
Look at
Oh.
Jordan over Whitman. Players on both wings. Blocked by Jordan.
On the left side, and everyone's clear. Jordan. Oh, what a
Hey.
The double team on Corzine loses the ball. They get it to Jordan.
Wow. Oh yeah.
His airness didn't ease into the league. He put the NBA on notice immediately. 28 points per game as a rookie. At 22 years old, Michael Jordan led the Bulls in 4 out of 5 major box score categories and earned All-NBA second team honors right away. And that was just the beginning. The year before 86-87, Jordan had missed most of the season with a broken foot, but when he returned, he gave the world a preview of what was coming. 63 points against the Boston Celtics in the first round of the 86 playoffs, in the Garden against Larry Bird's dynasty. Now fully healthy, entering his 3rd season, he went nuclear. Jordan poured in 3,041 total points, averaging 37.1 points per game.
Damn.
Not since Wilt Chamberlain's rampage through the early 1960s had the league seen individual scoring brilliance like that. And this wasn't a one-off heater. It was the beginning of a long run.
Wow. So
The
inspirational.
86-87 season marked the first of Jordan's 10 scoring titles, the start of 7 straight before his surprise retirement in 1993. From 87 forward, the scoring crown basically belonged to him, and the volume that year was absurd. 37 games of 40 or more points, 8 50-point games. Between late November and early December, he scored 40 plus in 9 straight games, 6 of those coming on a brutal Western Conference road swing.
Against the Hawks. Opening tip controlled and a jam. Here's Jordan against Wilkins. Goes to the
Rory Sparrow.
Oh, what a move.
Sweet move.
Hey.
For a lob pass, but Oakley had it and did see it.
In one season, bro. All these 50-point games.
That was a great play by Jordan just to catch that ball.
And that explosion wasn't random. Over the summer, Jordan had refined his mid-range game, the footwork, balance, and elevation. It allowed him to make what might have been the single biggest leap of his career. Not only was he athletic, but now he was surgical. Then there's the moment from the season opener at Madison Square Garden, a moment that tells you exactly who Michael Jordan was. It was Doug Collins' first game as an NBA head coach, rookie coach, bright lights, Madison Square Garden against Patrick Ewing and the Knicks on the other side. Collins was nervous. Years later, this is how he remembered it. About 2 minutes to go in the game was tied. He came over to the bench. I'm soaking wet with sweat. I've chewed my gum. I have a headache. I have powder on my mouth from where the gum had disintegrated. And Michael just hands me a glass of water and says, "Take a sip, coach. I'm not going to let you lose your first game." He scored the last 10 points, ended up with 50, and we won by 5.
Damn.
That was game 1. What did Doug do after the game? He just asked MJ to tell him of such explosions before the game so he could enjoy it from one of the best seats in the house. Under Collins, the Bulls won 40 games, their first 40-win season since 80-81 under Jerry Sloan. But for Jordan, 86-87 wasn't about team hardware yet. It wasn't one of the 6 championships, and it wasn't one of the 5 MVP seasons. It was his emergence into superstardom. To put the scoring into perspective, 3,041 total points, the 3rd most in a single season in NBA history. Wilt Chamberlain holds the top 2 spots. Outside of Wilt, Jordan is the only player ever to surpass 3,000 points in a season. And context matters. Chamberlain played in a completely different era.
It's 3rd year,
pace,
Mike.
A league that hadn't fully integrated. A scarcity of big men, and a style of play built around feeding a 7'1" physical anomaly. Jordan had to do his thing in a whole other world. And if you compare MJ to other legendary scoring seasons that came more recently, Kobe Bryant's 05-06 campaign, the one with the 81-point game, ended with 2,832 total points.
Hey.
That's 209 fewer than Jordan in 86-87.
Mm.
James Harden's 18-19 season, when he averaged 36.1 points per game, ranks 10th all-time in total points with 2,818, 223 fewer than Jordan. And here's what makes it even more absurd. Jordan played all 82 games that season, averaging
Dang.
40 minutes per game.
Mm.
Neither Bryant nor Harden did during their peak scoring years, and I think it's safe to say no one is touching that number anytime soon.
Yeah.
Jordan had to maintain that pace every single night, regardless of matchup, fatigue, injuries,
Ooh.
defensive schemes, or travel. And he wasn't just scoring. He averaged 5.2 rebounds and 4.6 assists per game on top of that. When you're
Wow.
carrying that scoring load, those numbers are outrageous. Now,
Yeah, it
when you
is.
talk about truly elite individual performances from that season, 2 games immediately come to mind. And interestingly,
Bitch.
he landed on the exact same point total in both. If you want proof that 1987 Michael Jordan was a cheat code, start in Michigan. On March 4, Jordan dropped 61 points at the Silverdome, carrying the Chicago Bulls to a 125-120 overtime win over the Detroit
Ah,
Pistons.
yeah,
A year
yeah.
earlier, he'd hung 63 on the Boston Celtics in a playoff game. But this 61-point explosion marked the highest scoring regular season performance of his career at that point. And just to show you the rhythm he was in, 6 nights earlier, he'd scored 58 against
He
New
flamed
Jersey.
our ass.
He also broke Kelly Tripucka's Silver Dome scoring record of 56, which had been set against the Bulls in 1983. And this wasn't some sleepy February shootout. Whenever the Bulls and Pistons met in that era, it was physical and personal. Detroit stars Adrian Dantley and Isaiah Thomas tried to trade blows with Jordan. They almost matched it. Almost. Dantley scored 32, Thomas added 31. Combined their points and barely reached Jordan's total. That's the level he was operating on, and the Bulls needed every ounce of it. Jordan scored 26 points in the fourth quarter alone. And talking about that stretch, he said, "You're never really unstoppable, but I felt close to it in the fourth quarter. I even came up with some shots people haven't seen." With 14 seconds left in regulation, Jordan hit an off-balance jumper to tie the game and force overtime. Then,
Damn.
with 2 seconds remaining, he tipped away Isaiah Thomas' pass intended for Dantley under the rim, preventing a potential game winner. Overtime decided it. The Dell threat delivered the final surge, scoring 8 points in the extra session. Jordan added 4 more to the 57 he'd already scored in regulation, finishing with 61 as the Bulls secured a 125-120 road victory. But here's the thing. For Jordan, the defining sequence of that night wasn't a jumper. It was defense. With the game hanging in the balance in overtime, Doug Collins made a bold adjustment. He switched Air Jordan onto Adrian Dantley to try cool him off. It worked. Jordan guarded Dantley in the final minutes, stole the ball 3 times, and held him without a basket. Later, Jordan reflected, "Because we won, and because I switched onto Adrian Dantley in the last few minutes, stole the ball 3 times, and held him without a basket, a victory for defense," MJ proudly said. That's what separated him. Even in a 61-point masterpiece, he took pride in the stops. And the full stat line? 61 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. Cheat code. And then he did it again. Second last game of the season against the Atlanta Hawks, a playoff
I ain't
caliber
see
team.
this.
Jordan matched his season high, 61 points. But what stunned Atlanta was what happened before the game even started. Jordan's trash talk is legendary. Players, coaches,
Wait, I don't
announcers,
know if I did.
most agree he belongs in the all-time conversation alongside Larry Bird and Kevin Garnett. And this story might be the coldest of them all. Speaking to Joe Vardon of The Athletic, Hawks superstar Dominic Wilkins recalled, "He was something else, man. I remember him walking into our locker room in Chicago, and he walked right by me, and I'm like, what the hell is he doing coming into our locker room? And he walked by me, walked by Kevin, and he tapped Randy Whitman on the leg and said, 'Lace him up.' it's going to be a long fucking night. And he
Mm.
walked out. He had 60 that night. He
Damn.
guaranteed it. And then he delivered. Jordan stuffed the stat sheet. 61 points, 10 rebounds, 4 steals, 1 block. And he wasn't chucking. For anyone thinking volume shooting cost Chicago the game, remember this. He shot 22 of 38 from the field, 17 of 21 from the free throw line. Hyper efficient. He also set an NBA record at the time by scoring 23 consecutive points in that game. It still wasn't enough to secure the win, but the performance itself felt inevitable. That's what 1987 Jordan was. You could know it was coming, he could tell you it was coming, and there was still nothing you could do about it. The scoring is what people remember. The 50s, the 60s, the 9 straight 40-point games. But in the middle of all that offense, Jordan made defensive history, and somehow, voters didn't think it was enough.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna like this.
Michael delivered one of the most dominant individual campaigns the league had ever witnessed. A year filled with highlight reels, scoring explosions, and statistical absurdity. But 86-87 wasn't just that offense. The scoring level was untouched since Wilt Chamberlain 2 decades earlier. It grabbed every headline, and in doing so, it overshadowed something historic happening defensively. Jordan was redefining what a two-way guard could be. That season, he recorded 125 blocks and 236 steals, leading the entire league in takeaways. He became the first player ever to record more than 200 steals and 100 blocks in the same season. For a guard, those numbers were almost unheard of. And yet, Jordan felt that part of his game was being overlooked. Jordan himself said, "I don't like to lead the league in scoring. I just think that stereotypes you as an offensive player. I think other parts of my game were not acknowledged as well as they should have been. To have over 100 blocks and over 200 steals also, I think you have to be contributing in other areas as well as scoring." When postseason awards were announced, that frustration intensified. Despite becoming the first player in NBA history to record 200 plus steals and 100 plus blocks in a single season, Jordan was left off both the first and second all-defensive teams in 87. The Defensive Player of the Year award went to Los Angeles Lakers guard Michael Cooper, which guaranteed him a spot on the all-defensive first team. The other guard spot went to Dennis Johnson, who was coming off 3 straight second-team selections. Historically, only one player ever had led the league in scoring and made first-team all-defensive in the same season, Jerry West. Jordan should have joined the logo in 1987, but Michael Cooper got the nod instead. In an interview with Sports Illustrated, MJ said, "Michael Cooper is great at ball denial, but check his other stats. This league gives defensive awards on reputation. It just teased me off." Jordan's argument leaned on measurable impact, blocks, steals, and disruption. Cooper's counterpoint leaned on nuance. A year later, before a sold-out Lakers-Bulls matchup at the Forum, Cooper was asked about Jordan questioning his defensive resume. He said, "That's his opinion. Everybody's entitled to express an opinion. I know my defense is good. I don't think steals and block shots are the only measures of playing defense. I'm not a starter, so I don't play enough to accumulate those kind of stats. I'm not a containment type player." Jordan never took issue with Dennis Johnson's defensive credibility, even while averaging 29.6 points in 6 regular season games against the Celtics. He acknowledged DJ's impact. Against Cooper and the Lakers, however, things were more complicated. In 2 matchups that season, Jordan scored 44 and 33 points, but Chicago lost both games. He also shot just 42.8% from the field in those contests, compared to his season average of 48.2%. Jordan refused to credit Cooper. Cooper, on the other hand, didn't dismiss Jordan's case. When asked whether Jordan deserved to be mentioned among the league's elite defenders, Cooper responded, "Sure, I think he is. He has the stats to back him up, but hopefully, people will still see some of the subtler things that are involved in defense." But what makes the 86-87 season even more remarkable is that it wasn't a statistical fluke. Jordan followed it up in 87-88 with 131 blocks and 259 steals, again leading the league in steals. Eventually, others would join the 100 block, 200 steal club. Hakeem Olajuwon in 88-89, Scottie Pippen in 89-90. These are all-time all-world level defenders, but in that elite club, Jordan was first. And in 1987, he believed that should have counted for more. While the future sheriff had arrived in Chicago, the league still revolved around its established empire, the Lakers-Celtics rivalry. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird were the headliners, NBA's defining feud, the gold standard. And in 86-87, the season ultimately belonged to the Showtime Lakers. Magic was phenomenal. He averaged 23.9 points, 12.2 assists, and 6.3 rebounds per game, while shooting nearly 53% from the field. He won his first league MVP award, captured his third finals MVP, and secured his fourth championship ring. At the height of his powers, Magic had now taken a 2-1 edge over Bird in their finals matchups. The throne still belonged to him. But while Magic was cementing his legacy, Jordan was building his. He didn't win MVP, he didn't win a title. He wasn't even recognized for his unique defensive achievement. But anyone paying attention understood something undeniable. A superstar had arrived. During the 86-87 season, Jordan made the NBA All-Star Game, won the Slam Dunk Contest, and was selected to the All-NBA First Team. Individually, it was historic. Team-wise, not yet. Despite Jordan's brilliance, the Bulls couldn't break through the 500 mark. They finished 5th in the Central Division at 40-42 and drew the Boston Celtics in the first round of the playoffs. For the second straight year, Boston overwhelmed Chicago, sweeping them in 3 games. And for Doug Collins, the learning curve was unfolding in real time. As a young head coach still finding his voice, Collins later admitted he struggled with the balance. How do you fully unleash a generational scorer without freezing out the rest of the roster? How do you empower Jordan while still building a functional system? It was a tightrope. In hindsight, Collins believes he didn't quite get it right. The Bulls steadily improved under his leadership, from 30 wins before he arrived to 50 by his third season. Jordan's years under Collins were explosive, electric, must-watch basketball, but they were unfinished. Their peak together came in 1989 when Chicago reached the Eastern Conference Finals before falling to the Detroit Pistons in 6 games. Collins was dismissed that offseason. Still, even in departure, he remained tied to that formative chapter of Jordan's career, the raw, chaotic, incandescent years when the talent was undeniable but the structure wasn't yet complete. Collins doesn't frame it as missed championships, he frames it as a lesson. He once tried to teach a player who didn't need teaching, just belief, and the freedom to become what he was already destined to be. The Bulls didn't win a championship in 86-87.
Nope.
The 40-42 record doesn't diminish the cheat code argument. It is the cheat code argument. Jordan took a team that had no business being in the playoffs and willed them there. The fact he lost MVP to Magic and got swept by Bird doesn't mean he wasn't the best player in basketball. It means he was the best player in basketball on the worst team of any MVP candidate.
I be trying to tell these niggas, bro. Oh, Bird beat the shit out of Jordan, man. No, bro. Jordan team was just ass.
And he still almost pulled it off. The most fundamental requirement in basketball is simple. Score more points than the other team. And in 86-87, and arguably across the last half century, no one has done that better than Michael Jordan. The 6 championships, the flu game, the last shot against Utah, all of that was still years away. But everything Jordan became started right here, in 1987, when he showed the entire league what was coming, and there was absolutely nothing anyone could do about it. But what happened next is where the story gets really interesting, because the front office finally started building around him. And the very first piece they added changed the trajectory of the entire franchise. So let me ask you this. Was 1987 the most terrifying version of Michael Jordan? Not the champion, not the polished dynasty killer, but the purest, most unstoppable scoring force we've ever seen. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear where you...
Yeah. I don't know. But I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.